Welcome back, peeps. My name is Chad Wilson from Simple Cloudware, and today we're going to combine our Angular app, which we are now hosting in S3, with our Lambda function. Keep your head in the cloud. In today's episode, we're going to take our Angular app, which we now have sitting in S3, and connect it to our Lambda function, which we've published through CloudFront. And why this is super important is it gives us the ability to create a tiered architecture which is scalable. Now we have a front end and we have a middle tier connected through a function as an API. And this is a great pattern to have because not only can you have separate teams work in tandem with each other, but you can scale this out and have the benefits of each type of technology and work with its strengths to help complement each one. Let's continue. So the first thing we need to do is repoint our config at our Lambda function URL. And so we're going to put that in here, and then we're going to save this and actually build the project. And while that is building, let's go over here to our console. And log in here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set up a new bucket for this particular tutorial. So I'll just go to the classic login here. And then we're going to go over to S3 and create this bucket. So you should already have a bucket for tutorial 8 and 15, so we can actually use the settings from the prior bucket, which is kind of a time saver. Just grab those, and we don't need to set the tags, and we just want to make sure that all of this is set to off. Create this bucket, great. So now we come in here and we set this up as a static website. So click here, and then we just turn on use the bucket. And then we grab the URL. Alright, we're just going to get another tab here and put this in here for safekeeping. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go in and actually add our files. I assume our build is finished building now. So let's just check that out. Yep, so we've finished building. So from here we just need to go to the disk folder, which we can do by going to Reveal and Explore, or the equivalent. Come over to this directory and grab this set of files. We can just copy them in its entirety. You can either drag and drop, or you can use the upload button here. So we just go over here and next make sure that we have access. So we have to continually make sure that we have correct access, and then we can just use the standard storage class. That worked just fine. Next, review, and next. And here come our files. We just wait for this. Cool. So now we have the front end or the UI set up to make this call. Now let's go over to Visual Studios and configure it to actually accept a call from our front end. And so here we have to configure the CORS, and this is what trips people up is they'll be able to make the call locally, but then they won't be able to make the call for their application. So what we need to do is we need to set up the origin so it knows that if it's being called from our online bucket that it's acceptable, and also we need to set up for if we are developing, this is development, so this is local, that it will use this as an origin so we can see it from our particular box. So in both situations now are covered from our AWS S3 bucket and from a local call. And then we just configure with the app.use, and what this does is it actually sets up the header in which we can accept from a particular URL, and this is a security measure in CORS that we have to contend with. So we just configure the context and the next, and these will show red until we actually configure them. So we're just going to type this out here. Okay, and here's our context. And what happens if you don't configure this is you'll get a successful response, but no data will come back, and that's an indicator that you have a CORS issue. Successful call, no data return. Because if you don't have this in here, the data will not come back. So you've got to configure this. And then we can just set this to our origin, which will go back and forth depending on what environment it's being called from. And then we just return it. Okay, let's just clean this up. Perfect. So now what we need to do is we need to go and publish this. If you need to know how to set up the publish, that's in a prior video that I'll link below that demonstrates how to set this up. So since we already have it set up, we should be able to just publish our new update with our CORS configuration to allow our Angular app in S3 to call this particular Lambda function. So this is just building the zip and throwing it out there into Cloud Formation. And then we just have to wait for it to update. This shouldn't take too long. Alright, update's complete. So now we should be able to go over to our link and see the successful call. So let's just execute this. Okay, so this is a 404, which means that we forgot to put in our index in our site. So let's just go and look at this. Oh, maybe we just didn't even save it all. So let's just redo this. You put in your index HTML, which will auto point the directory call. Okay, let's try it again. Perfect. So this should give us our here. Wait for it. Perfect. So that means that we are able to successfully call the function with CORS. And you see now we're bringing back our token and everything. Congratulations! You have now created a two-tier scalable application by connecting the JavaScript front end with the C# middle tier in a Lambda function. This gives us the ability to create all kinds of different software at scale. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to join the community, and hit the like button so people just like you can find this video. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please write them below. And remember, keep your head in the cloud.